Joining us now is Ellen van Praagh, President of the Central Committee of the NIK and Vice President of the European Jewish Association. Shalom.
Shalom.
Tell us please about your feelings as you're looking back at what happened on Thursday night in Amsterdam.
Looking back, it's terrifying because we don't know how it's going to end. Although our government and municipalities are helping us any way they can, it's still a little bit of a problem because you don't know what's going to happen. This is a completely new phenomena we haven't seen before. We haven't seen it in Europe, not on this scale. And although Amsterdam, as we say in Holland, isn't Holland because it's very international, and most of the Dutch cities are a little bit more subdued, not as outspoken as the people in Amsterdam. It does make us feel uncomfortable, to say the least.
What do you know regarding the question whether the riots were pre-organized?
It's still under investigation, so we don't have the details. But it looks like it was organized through Telegram and other social media groups. And at the moment, I do have the feeling that it was a completely organized, attack.
And you know, some say we knew something like this could happen.
Things could happen, but not on this scale. You know, there are always crazy people with thoughts they shouldn't have. But it doesn't, in general, mean that I felt insecure. To give you a small example, Flowerman, who is absolutely 100% Dutch and non-Jewish, was attacked on the street by an idiot who had too much cocaine. So, you know, it happens. People are being attacked and not for any reason at all. So that people would be attacked or would be vandalized, I think that's everywhere, even in Israel. Even in Israel, there's crime. It's like a normal state, like Holland. And I think to expect it on this scale, no. Definitely not.
And how do you answer people who say, so how did this happen?
Well, look around you. It's happening all the time in every country. Look at universities. People are misinformed. People don't have any historical notion at all. They don't know their history. And I think lack of history means you don't know what to do now or in the future. And what you can expect. People in, for instance, universities, Jewish students are feeling insecure because some groups, if you go to university, you have to be in study groups. And some of them were expelled because of being Jewish or Israeli. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. These signs, I couldn't even imagine when our children were in university that this could occur in any moment. It's incredible, but it says it all about how strong the groups are that are misinforming young people. And I'm really afraid about the future that it holds, because these children, which are now at university, are going to be the leaders of the future. And that's not only in Holland a problem. I see it in Italy. I see it in the United States. I see it in the UK. You see it everywhere. And this is a very worrying and very anxious sign for our future as Jews in the world, not just in Europe, but everywhere.
And today, not only visitors, also local Jews are afraid of showing in the public that they are Jews, right?
Absolutely. No, it's absolutely true. People are hiding their kippah under a cap or not wearing a kippah at all, or even Magen David, or any sign that may may give the impression of being Jewish. If you go in public transport, don't show it. If you're on the street, don't show it. We warn our children and everybody not to be showing their religious signs in public. If you do, you're under the risk of being attacked.
How does it feel to tell your children that they have to hide their Judaism?
You know, I'll tell you something else. About 15 years ago, my parents, Zichrono Livracha, they told me, Ellen, beware. There will be another period of fright, like things happened before the war. I laughed at them and I said, you're joking. That's absolutely not true. That's not going to happen in Holland. Never. To be perfectly honest, they were right. And for me, it's so sad to experience this in my country, where my family has lived for generations since the 1600s. So, you know, I'm feeling a Dutch Jew, emphasizing both the titles, both Dutch and Jew. That's what I am. That's who I am. So you understand my problem. I have to live in a country where I was born and bred, where my family comes from, and experiencing now a kind of fright that doesn't really suit my, how shall I put it, my feelings of being Dutch.
Wow.
My children are aware of the circumstances, although they're in some denial. They don't want to accept it, but denial doesn't help. And so we try to explain the situation.
Ellen van Praagh, thank you very much for joining us.
תודה רבה.